Good morning. I wanted to go over something. I just watched a video where this individual is creating their own chicken feed, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I make my own chicken feed myself. But the information that was given, it seems that many people will take something that they find on the internet, whether it's on YouTube or somewhere else, and they don't really do their own research. They don't try to figure out if it's accurate. They don't try to figure out if it's actually going to work the way they say they do, the way they say it does. In this particular situation, he also had some calculation problems. So rather than calculating the protein percentage, now if you look here, the protein percentage on this for oats is 11%. That is not going to change. If you have 1 gram, the protein percentage is 11%. If you have 40 grams, the protein percentage is going to be 11%. If you have 100 pounds, the protein percentage is going to be 11%. So you can't really determine how much protein is in something based on weight. So this calculation was using the actual weight of the product and doing some kind of a calculation. I didn't even catch it to come up with a different protein level. Now, this particular, I made up this spreadsheet that shows the protein percentages, and I've put over on this side a number of different things that people use for their chicken feed. Most people use oats, corn, sometimes barley, millet. This particular one included millet. I've done some research on the internet, and many of these items have a range where one person says that it is, say, 10% protein, and another organization says that it's 15% protein, and another organization says that it's 5% protein. So I would put in a range of 5 to 15. If I didn't find a specific range, then I just put in the amount that I was able to find. Which in the case of oats is 11%, wheat is 10%, barley is 12%, corn, the range was 3 to 10%. Some organizations said that protein level in corn was 10%. Most ranged in the 3 to 4% range, so that's what I used, was the 3%, and so on. Now, one thing that I do here is that I use parts. If it is 1 cup, then everybody has to have 1 cup. If it's a gallon, then everybody has to use, every line has to use a gallon. So in this particular instance, it's set for my chicken feed mix. So it is 2 parts oats, 2 parts wheat, 1 part barley. I am thinking of either removing the barley altogether or increasing it, because if you look up here, this is our protein percentage for this particular mix. If I increase this to 2%, it goes down a little bit, but if I, for example, go to 1% or 1 part for wheat, then it goes up a little bit. And I could explain all of that, but it's just math stuff. So I have 2 parts oats, 2 parts wheat, 1 part barley, 1 part black oil sunflower seeds, and half a part of flax. I would like to use more flax, but number 1, it is extremely expensive, and number 2, there are some arguments as to whether or not it is dangerous in higher levels. So half a part on that. is sufficient. If I used 1 part, as you can see here, it went up to 13.29%. So I'll just use 0.5 for now because that's the mix that I'm using right now. This is calculated out so that of course will change depending on what ranges I put in. Down here, now you can see that the 12.69%, that's pretty low. It's okay for a feed, but it's still pretty low. So one thing is that I need to add to that some kind of a protein supplement. I'm not going to use soy. I refuse to use soy. There are a number of different reasons, and I can go into those at another time. But previously, what I have used is duckweed, which is an aquatic plant, grows on the surface of ponds and lakes and such. Fish can eat it. But when I did my research, the research indicated that it is anywhere from 35 to 50% protein, depending on the variety. So when I chose my value, I chose 30%. Now, if I put in 1 part of duckweed, our percentage goes up to 15%. And when I did this before, I was actually using 2 parts of duckweed, so our percentage went up to 16.76. That's the protein percentage for this particular mix if I use 2 parts of duckweed. I'm not using duckweed yet because I don't have it right now. So what I have chosen to use instead is a bottle of expired powdered Parmesan, which is approximately 30% protein. I'm not putting it in the mix. If I did 1 part protein, 1 part Parmesan, that would be extremely expensive, but it would bring our protein mix up to 15%. And what I have done instead is put out free choice, put out the Parmesan in a bowl in the coop so that the birds can get it if they want it. So with the current mix, until I can get the duckweed going, is 12.69%. So the actual value here, what you're looking at is, you can see E15 divided by D15. These values here, this is not 22%. It is 11% doubled. So it is 2 parts oats, each at 11%. This formula, this row here, is just for calculation purposes. That does not mean that it's 22%. It just means that it is 2 times 11%. It's 2 parts at 11%. So take this, because if you did 1 part here, 1 part, and we'll just take this one out. Okay. So if you did 1 part of each of these, 1 black oil sunflower, let's do 1 there. If you did 1 part of everything, this would still be 11%, this would still be 10%, this would still be 12%, and your protein level would be 14.4%. Okay? But I'm not doing it that way. I have more oats, wheat, and barley than I do black oil sunflower seeds and flax. So we have 11%, and 11% doubled is the 22, but it's not 22%, it's 22 doubled. So if we come up here, okay, we have E15 divided by D15. That is that calculation based on parts divided by the parts. So there's a total of 7 parts here. 2 parts wheat oats, 2 parts wheat, 1 part barley, 1 part black oil sunflower seeds, and 1 part flax, for a total of 7. And actually, I'm going to shift that back to 0.5. Okay, for a total of 6.5. So 0.825 divided by 6.5, okay, comes up with our protein calculation of 12.69%. Now, if I had another protein source, I could add it in here. I could do a lot of different things with this formula, but that's the base. So if you know if your chickens are only getting oats, that's 11% protein. Whether it is 2 pounds or 50 makes no difference. It is still 11% protein. If your birds are refusing to eat their share of duckweed, then they're not getting that 30%. I just wanted to go over the actual calculation with you so you can figure it out for yourself. It is the total divided by the parts. Okay, so multiply your protein by the number of parts. So if I used 10 parts of oats, this comes up to 1.1, and that's just for the calculation purposes. And of course our protein, because 11 overwhelms all of these. If we use 10 parts here, 11 overwhelms everything below it. We end up with 11.76%. So I'm going to put that back. Okay, that is the formula. You can plug in whatever your feed is, but do your research, find out what the actual numbers are. And I prefer to estimate low so that I know if I can always add something to increase the protein or to increase whatever else they're needing, but I can't take it away. So I prefer to estimate low, and 12.69%. Once I have the duckweed going, I'm going to put in 2 here. That will bring the percentage up to 16.76. I'll talk with you later.